Today a little compás exercise por bulería. It's been a long time, right? I'm going to show you lots of ways to practice and to have fun for bulería, and also how to unlock the power of el Tito. Hi, this is Guillermo Guillen for FlamencoMAPS. Welcome to my channel. I know that if you are a flamenco dancer, you want to dance flamenco. If you are a guitarist, you want to play guitar. If you are a percussionist, you want to play percussion. But it's also important to practice rhythm just for the sake of rhythm. Compás is what connects us all. It is the bridge that allows us to share music and dance. And I know that it's easy to get bored with exercises. Personally, I love exercises, but creative exercises. Not just drills where you repeat the same thing 1,000 times without understanding what you're doing. No, real, smart, targeted, effective exercises where you are physically, mentally, and emotionally engaged. Then it's no longer an exercise, it's a game. And a game is always funnier with other people, right? And our best friend for that is still and always el Tito. So vámonos. To practice compás, nothing better than just palmas. It doesn't matter if you are a guitarist, a singer, a dancer, a percussionist, a trombone player, everyone must have good palmas. There are countless possible palmas patterns por bulería. I've already explained many of them in detail in this video. For today's exercise, you could use any of them, but let's take the one that you probably know, the one that I call, to simplify, the Jerez pattern. La tierra is the first beat, only with the foot. Then 5 palmas and 2 additional feet here. Pa, pa. Many of you may have learned the simplified version of this pattern with only the first foot, la tierra, and then no foot after that. But I really prefer if you keep the foot consistent every 2 beats, and you'll understand why later. This is the foot in 2 feel. Bulería is a multidimensional rhythmic world. It's not just what we usually hear, like either in 12 beats or in medio compasses, in 6s or in 3s or in blah 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 blah. No, the real interest, the real richness of the Bulería compás is that many different things happen at the same time at different levels. Remember from that same other video, por Bulería, we have 2 different feels. The 2 feel, 2 because we mark every 2 beats, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. And 3 feel because we mark every 3 beats, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So here we use the 2 feel for the foot. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And the palmas are actually accenting in 3 feel with a first palma that is muted. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. If this is not clear, you should really start with this other tutorial. Practice it a bit and then come back here. Because the point here, the goal of these exercises is not to practice this specific pattern itself, but rather to feel it in different ways. There are countless ways of using a metronome, but most of the time we don't take advantage of it and we just use a cold, neutral, mechanical click, just a flat pulsation. But it's very important to learn how to use the metronome in different and creative ways. This can really change our rhythmic perception. It can enhance our practice and it can open the door to a completely new rhythmic life. So today you'll see how el Tito will help us feel the bulería in different ways. we'll use that palmas pattern, always the same, and El Tito will help us feel it with different underlying pulses, what I call the ground level of rhythm in this video. It's usually not the real tempo of the beats, but another related and usually slower pulse. That is the one we usually mark with our foot when we play guitar or when we play palmas or even just when we listen to music. So let's start with El Tito in neutral feel. By neutral, I mean that El Tito is just marking 6 beats with an emphasis on the first beat, la tierra, but then there is no 3 feel, there is no 2 feel, it's just neutral. Tierra, tierra, tierra. But remember, we mark the foot in 2 feel with the palmas. So vámonos with El Tito. That should be fine, right? Throughout all the next exercises, we'll only do this. What we just did. Always the same pattern and always at the same absolute tempo of 180 BPM. What will change is the metronome, not what we do. Now we are going to change the parameters of El Tito so that it gives us different rhythmic dimensions. Because just like that, in 6, it's not really interesting. If we want El Tito to give us a 2 feel while keeping the same absolute tempo of 180 BPM, we need a little calculation. But ultimately, rhythm is all about mathematics. In 2 feel, we accent every alternate beat of the 6 beats loop. So that gives us 3 accents. So I set up El Tito in 3 beats, and now the felt tempo is logically twice slower, 90 BPM. So for this part of the exercise, El Tito and our foot are synchronized. How is it going? So you see it's the same thing as what we did before with the 6 beats del Tito, but the feel is slightly different. There are no longer 6 beats here, so we feel more air, more aire, more soniquete. So if that worked for you, let's continue. And if not, just go back and practice this again. Now let's make El Tito mark only an accent every 3 beats, so in 3 feel. In 3 feel, we only have 2 accents in the loop. So we set up El Tito in 2 beats, and now the felt tempo is 60 BPM. The difficulty here is that now El Tito and my foot are not synchronized anymore. They are crossed. That's difficult, right? But the good thing is that my third palma is actually going with the second beat of El Tito, because both are going in 3 feel, El Tito and my palma, not my foot. So for this part of the exercise, you can start with the palma and then add the foot. And here you can really feel that different things are happening, right? The soniquete, again, is very different depending on the context that El Tito gives you. But everything is complementary, everything goes together. And this is the key of the Bulería soniquete, the groove of the Bulería. So take your time to do these exercises, explore the different layers and connect them with clear physical sensations, because it's the only way you'll be able to retrieve them later when you need them. If we continue our little mathematical operations, we can do this. we can ask El Tito to mark only one beat, la tierra. So here again, El Tito is not inducing any feel. El Tito is neutral again. In order to respect the absolute tempo of 180 BPM, the felt tempo has to be 30 BPM. Like this, the pulse of the ground level feels extremely slow. And that's precisely the difficulty and the interest of this exercise. We have to manage all this time or space between tierras without rushing, without dragging, and distributing all the beats in a steady manner. Take your time to listen to it and to feel it in your body. When we had 6 beats or 3 or even 2, it was much easier, right? By doing this exercise, you really see if you are regular, if you are precise. And if not, now you have a great way of practicing this. Once you've practiced all of this with this specific Palmas pattern or others, you can just apply this to anything. For example, the soniquete of a dance step, or just a short rhythmic cell like TicotaTicotaTum, 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 TicotaTicotaTum. And let's do it with El Tito with all the different options. TicotaTicotaTum, 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 TicotaTicotaTum. TicotaTicotaTum, 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 TicotaTicotaTum. TicotaTicotaTum, 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 TicotaTicotaTum. TicotaTicotaTum, 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 TicotaTicotaTum. And then another thing you can do once you have practiced a lot with El Tito is to become yourself El Tito. I mean, don't rely on El Tito to give you the different feels anymore, but give them to yourself with your foot and palmas. If you play the guitar, do the same on the guitar. The just tierra feel. The two feel. Three feel. Or the waltz feel that I explained in this video. You see, the creative use of the metronome is a very powerful tool to practice rhythm. You don't need to constantly learn new or very complex exercises, but really understand, master, and squeeze everything you have simply by changing the way you approach things. One of the common limitations I see among students for Bulería is that they want to know what is the right thing to do, the right palmas pattern, the right way of marking with their foot. Should it be Jerez or Lebrija or in 3-feel or in 2-feel? The answer is that there is no right or wrong solution. As long as it's a compás, everything is possible because it's Bulería and because it's the nature of Bulería. You'll see that some elements of your baile, of your guitar, or some phrasing are clearly articulated in 2-feel, others are clearly articulated in 3, but it doesn't mean that you always have to stick with this feel. On the contrary, what is interesting is the contrast, the polyrhythm. I want you to feel these different things happening simultaneously. So just practice everything and then choose what you want. That's the goal. Spend time on this because practicing rhythm takes time. It has to infuse our body. It has to go through our whole being, but always in this constant loop, understanding, feeling, practicing, understanding, feeling, practicing. And be consistent. Practice a bit every day is much better than practicing a lot just once a month. A few minutes every day. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video helped. If it helped you, you can also help me by liking this video, sharing it, put a comment. Also, please consider supporting my work on Patreon. I leave the link in the description. And as always, go and visit FlamencoMAPS.com where I explain my online classes, my courses, and my way of teaching flamenco. I see you there. Till then, just play palmas and have fun.